when I sneeze, I'll try to sneeze more friendly.
And welcome back to Connect with me on this Friday morning, live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Today, we're at it again. We are talking about sanitation in the city of Fresno. I guess you could say for the union members, today is D-Day, the day they turn in the signatures. We've got two guests in the studios debating and talking about the issue and the signatures. 265-4331. It's your chance the next half hour. And so for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to hand the show over to you, the viewers. You can call in and debate about garbage, talk about garbage, ask the question of our two guests, because it's not going away. Well, who knows? It may go away next week. It may go to the ballot, and it'll be another 6 months before we know the end result about what's going to happen with the sanitation department in the city of Fresno. Will it privatize, or will it stay as is with the city workers? And that's the way the union members want it. And today at 4:30, supposedly they're going to turn in about 30,000 plus signatures to the city clerk's office. They want to do it today. They don't want to wait till Tuesday because they don't want any questions on the table as to, okay, did you miss the deadline? Did you not miss the deadline? You still have time to sign that petition, by the way. Let's put one up on the screen so you can take a look at it. If you're not in favor of privatizing, then sign it. If you're in favor of privatizing, then hey, don't sign it. It's pretty much as simple as that. I mean, you put your name, address, and phone number. They are trying to get about 21,800 plus signatures. Now, these have to be valid signatures. They have to be registered voters in the city of Fresno. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So they're going to get about 30,000 plus, and they're hoping that that's enough to clear. Live in our studio right now, spearheading the campaign on the signature drive is Dee Barnes. She's a union member, and I guess you could say it's D-Day for her. And Patrick Wiemiller, representing the city of Fresno, and he is going to talk on the other side of the issue. Your phone calls encouraged, 265-4331. As you know, at this point, the council already voted 4-3 to privatize with Mid-Valley Disposal. We'll talk about that and much more, including your phone calls, in the next 30 minutes here on Connect with Me. We're back in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the low-price leading brands reliable advice place. The Whirlpool Dream Kitchen Get Yours Today place. Check this out. Right now, get huge savings on select Whirlpool appliances and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
And so we are back. 265-4331 is the number. We're live on the showroom floor at Ventura TV talking to Dee Barnes. I guess you're a member of the union, and you're spearheading the drive, right?
No, I'm not spearheading. I'm actually the president of the Fresno City Employees Association. We're technically not a union.
Yeah.
And this
but you're helping spearhead the drive.
I am.
Okay.
And it has truly been a group effort. Our association could not have done it alone. Local 39 could not have done it alone. We have had so many volunteers, individuals, community groups, other labor groups that have helped with this.
And Patrick Wiemiller is here, of course, representing the city of Fresno. So is everybody on edge at City Hall right now, Patrick? What's going on over there? Tell me the inside scoop.
Well, I don't know about being on edge, but definitely waiting patiently for this portion of the process to be done. There's a lot at stake, obviously, for all parties concerned. And so this is an important day for everyone.
Is this the biggest issue to the best of your recollection in recent memory for the city of Fresno?
Well, at least for the areas I deal with, it's one of the two biggest ones. I'd say probably water meters was the other issue that was as compelling.
Wasn't that a state mandated thing, though? I think
it
was.
Ultimately was.
Yeah.
But we had local resistance. But this obviously is, for the time being at least, is definitely the biggest thing before us.
You had no choice in the meters, but this is a different story. It has nothing to do with the state of California. A phone call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How are you?
I'm just fine.
Good. What's your question?
I just want to make a statement, Greg, on the garbage situation.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. That being that I got, as soon as ours garbage went up, a month went by, my payment went up to $18 a month. And I think it's almost funny that the police chief gets on there and talking about the garbage people. And they're the most expensive people in the Fresno County system.
All right, let me ask you a quick question. Yes or no, and then we got to go. Are you in favor of privatizing or not?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
But he's saying the rates went up, though. Didn't I hear him say that?
Well, the rates have gone up over the years because costs do go up. They've had to purchase new equipment. Fuel costs have gone up. Obviously, they're never going to stay completely the same. The difference is for the city of Fresno, they can only charge what it actually costs to provide the service.
All right, let me play devil's advocate with both of you and tell me, why is it not a good idea to privatize? I mean, a lot of people are saying, smaller government, private company, it's going to do it better, more efficiently.
That is one of the biggest lies out there.
Why?
Because private business does not always do it better. They are not always more efficient. You were here when Autry had the pave off. That was a contest until the city workers put him to shame. And then it was no longer a contest. The city workers did it better, more efficient, it cost less, and they finished the job. Go back and do the research on that one, the pave off.
All right, let's take another call before we go to Patrick here. Good morning, you're on Connect with Me. How are you?
Okay, fine. Good morning.
Good. Speak up.
Yeah, on the city garbage, I think it should be with the city because the city employees, they need a job, Hey, that's, you go private with it, that takes the jobs away from the employees from the city.
I think Patrick can respond to that. They're keeping all the employees. Is that right if it goes private?
Yeah, there are jobs offered to the employees that are displaced as a result of the franchise operation.
At less pay, though, a little bit, right?
Considerably less pay.
How much?
Oh, I thought he was asking me.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
No, so generally around $5 an hour less for the drivers. Yes.
All right.
It's a 25% pay cut, and for most of us, if we took a 25% pay cut, that could easily be your house payment.
And I totally understand that, but I'm just playing devil's advocate with both of you. And I heard Lee Brand, the city councilman, say on KMJ the other day, he says, well, you know what? At least they have jobs. So you were there. I think you were debating him.
Yes, I was there.
Yeah, I guess you weren't too pleased with that, but I'm just reporting what he said. Anyway, let's take another quick call here. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. How's it going?
Good. A friend of mine works for Mid-Valley. He's a supervisor there.
Okay.
And he was telling me that even though the city employees, and he was talking with management about this, and he said even though they're required to hire the city employees and keep them on for 2 years, they plan to cut them simply for the fact that in order to recoup that $1.5 million fee that they have to pay annually. So it's not a really great deal for the employees.
Okay, let Patrick speak to that, because after 2 years, according to the contract, can they be released?
They can be. The employment guarantees for 1 year, but the experience was, at least on the commercial side with Mid-Valley's operation, they did not terminate the employees. They actually gave them a 5% wage increase at that 1 year anniversary.
Okay, now explain to us, try to convince us why privatizing is better than the job that is currently being done by city employees.
Well, in adopting that approach, what the majority of city council was indicating was, because of the ability to both lower rates, that's good for the citizens, and the ability to generate a franchise fee, which could in turn pay for other things that the general fund cannot afford as well now, which includes things like police, fire, and parks.
Right, 17 to 18% the first 2 years, but then after that, the rates could go up. Workers could still lose their jobs.
Yep.
So in the long run, is it a good deal?
Yes, over the life of the agreement, it is very specific as to how much, what the cap is on those increases. And over the life of the agreement, the typical single-family residential customer would save about $200 over the life of the agreement if all the maximum increases were incurred all the way along the way.
All right, I know you're chomping at the bit here. Go ahead.
They say things are locked into the contract. Anyone that's actually read that contract would know that that is not the complete truth.
What does it say?
There is nothing locked in. They can come back at any time and ask for a rate increase that is not in the contract. And Councilmember Lee Brand put in what he calls the poison pill, that if they do come back and ask for more, the city can consider them in default. Which, okay, that's fine, consider them in default. But the other three companies that bid on this were considerably higher. So if they declared them in default and canceled the contract, rates are still going to go up because the other companies would charge more, plus the fact that the city will not have city equipment to give away to the next company.
All right, let's take another call here before we go to break here. Connect with me. You're on. Go ahead.
Yes, when they go to privatization, and the money left over in the garbage fund, that can go back to the city because that's a special enterprise zone money. And the state law specifically states that a fee-based money has to stay in the fee-based money. Now, it's just a thing that they just want to grab the money and then just sell the asset, and then another asset goes and another asset goes. And my point is it's sad to say, they did it, and they're sorry they did it.
Patrick, you're shaking your head.
No, because of this is an enterprise fund, those reserves stay with the enterprise, and there's no ability, like for the city or anybody else, to raid that money back. Either that money gets spent for the ongoing operations of the enterprise, which include things like perpetual care of the Fresno landfill, or it ultimately can be returned to the ratepayers, or it can be used to help keep ratepayers' rates low. Those are the legal uses, and they can't be used for other purposes.
And we believe that subsidizing a private company by selling them the equipment at bargain basement prices or using that reserve fund is not a legal use of that money. There are many people challenging that. Most prominent person is former City Council member Les Kimber, who does not believe that they should be doing that.
All right, we're going to pick up more on that point from Dee Barnes after the break. 265-4331 is the number. Today we're talking about sanitation. Back in a moment.
From the pages of history and the untamed prairies of a young nation comes one of television's and America's most memorable folk heroes.
Daniel Boone was a man, yes, a big man.
Well, you're Daniel Boone.
Yep. Fess Parker stars as the legendary Daniel Boone, with Ed Ames as his trusty sidekick, Mingo.
Pleasure indeed.
A Kentuckian named Daniel Boone.
That's me.
Watch Daniel Boone weekday mornings at 9, 8 Central on MeTV.
All right, 265-4331 is the number, and let me ask you both this question. All right, we know there's about $16 million in the reserve fund from the sanitation department. You can pick up on this, anybody, it doesn't matter. Doesn't the city look at that as a gold mine? Hey, we're in debt, let's go after that money and privatize. Isn't that what this is all about? Who wants to pick it up?
No, that's not what this is about, because again, that money, that $16 million that's in reserve for the residential solid waste enterprise, excuse me, is not available to the city to be rated or used for anything other than for the residential solid waste enterprise. So, and the same is true with the commercial reserve funds. But we do have ongoing expenses. For instance, I mentioned...
What's to stop the city from trying to raid that fund?
The law.
The law.
The law.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there have been some questions raised, and we have been unable to get a real answer. When they say that it can be used to help keep the rates low, what some people are afraid of, and like I say, it's been asked and has not been fully answered. Mid-Valley will be responsible for paying 15% of the gross revenue they receive from the customers. So if the customer is paying $20 to Mid-Valley, they will turn around and give 15% of that to the city. It totals out right now to slightly over $4 million that Mid-Valley will be giving the city in franchise fees.
Okay.
What some people are afraid is that they could say, all right, instead of Mid-Valley giving us all $4 million, we can reduce that a little bit, use some of the reserve money to cover that, and that is helping keep the rates low because it will allow Mid-Valley to keep their rates low. So we've asked that, and it has not been fully answered.
I could answer that pretty clearly if you'd like.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because when we talk about keeping rates low, what we're saying is if there was one of those 2% annual increases that was due, and in other words, based upon actual process, so they could have increased rates 2%. One of the possible uses is to take reserve money and say, don't increase 2%. We're going to pay this out of the reserves. So all that money would go to the customer's pocket. That would be increases they wouldn't pay. None of that money would go to the private haulers.
I'll tell you the problem I have with this after this call here. Good morning, you're on Connect with me. Well, you were on Connect with me, I guess, but...
I would like to say one thing. When we talk about why we believe it's a bad deal for the citizens, one of the things we keep hearing out there that people, when they think privatization, they think it's to save money. This is not going to save the city one single dime. This
How do you
is
know
not
that?
Because it doesn't. The solid waste department is paid for by the rates, so it's not going to. Let me finish,
okay,
John.
Go
it's
ahead.
not going to save the city money. The reason the city is doing this is to generate a new form of revenue. They're going to now get franchise fees. So it's not about saving money or cutting
the rates are
costs.
going to go down 17, 18%.
I didn't say it's not going to save the ratepayer.
Right.
The ratepayer will pay lower rates, but it's not cutting costs for the city. It's generating new revenue, and that new revenue is going to come from the reduced salaries of 150 employees and from this tax, this hidden tax, this franchise fee that the ratepayers are going to be paying. So do you want to pay a 15% tax on your trash fee?
All right, quick phone call here. Good morning, you're on Connect with me. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
I think it was a big mistake for the city to try and privatize sanitation for the simple reason of what the lady's talking about, and that is the $16 million fund. I mean, that's the solid waste has always been able to pay for itself, the disposal, and now she said all you're trying to do is generate a fee, and then and as the contract goes down, there's nothing to say that any council that is sitting at the time can go back and renegotiate the contract with that private entity, no matter who it might be, Mid-Valley or any other company that takes over the sanitation disposal. So Congress does it all the time, and so do any other municipal that has to redo their budgets and stuff. They'll renegotiate contracts with whoever. So there's no guarantee that rates will stay low or that people will be employed or any of that kind of thing.
Okay. Well,
and people should also know that every time their rates go up, the city is going to benefit. So there's no incentive for the city to keep your rates low.
Okay. I wanted to tell that caller thank you for calling in. Appreciate it. Let's put up on the screen the mayor's flyer. Now, apparently this was mailed to several people, residents in the city of Fresno, trying to encourage people, I guess, not to sign the petition. I guess you can explain it better than I can, Dee. It's up on the screen right there.
They're also asking people to that have signed it to sign this form to remove their signature.
Okay.
Because per the election code, if you've signed a petition and you change your mind, as long as you have submitted a written form, you can have your signature removed prior to the submission of all the petitions.
Right. There's really nothing negative in here from what I've seen. They're not lambasting the union members. They're just saying, basically, you know, encouraging people not to sign it. If you've signed it, go ahead and take your name off if you want. Patrick, what do you think of this mailer here? This cost city taxpayers money to mail something like this out, didn't it?
No, it didn't, actually.
Okay.
That, and I'm only seeing this for the first time.
Yeah,
we haven't been involved, we, the city staff, haven't been involved with neither the petition drive nor any
Who mailed this out
else.
then?
It's a private organization called Fresno's for Responsible Government Issues Committee.
However, the money in that fund,
All come from private
well, a good chunk of it came from Mayor Swearingen's campaign fund chest and from Mid-Valley, from what
From what you understand.
Well, and I believe that was also in the Fresno Bee the
So
other day,
from
so George
private-
Hostetter.
Private sources, not from city
No, it's not
treasury.
tax money, but it is from the
Right.
mayor's campaign money.
What about some of the
and from
radio ads and some of the spots that I've
the
heard?
fir-
Who's
the
paying
first
for that?
ones were
Yeah,
department.
so there are radio, TV, and print pieces that we, the department, have bought, and we bought
Taxpayer expense?
through at ratepayer,
Ratepayer.
Okay.
not taxes. Through March 4th, which is transition time, we every year do public education outreach. This is part of that program that was budgeted to inform the public of the impending transition.
Another call before we go to break. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question quickly?
Who picks up the trash that blows out of the trucks as they're going down the street? Neither one, city or county, either one will clean up after themselves. They're just, I know they're under a schedule and they got to get their job done, but there's nobody that'll pick that up, and I'm tired of cleaning up after them.
Thank you for the call.
Thank you. There are actually, we've got litter problems within the city, and we know when the trucks are not properly sealed, whether they're our city trucks or a private hauler, that there can be some leakage, if you will. But I also see things coming out of people's pickup trucks or just doing the arm movement, tossing something out the window, and we would encourage everybody to stop. As to who cleans it up, we do use some community sanitation money to go out and do some litter control.
Okay, got to take a break. We're going to be back with more of Connect with Me. I see we have a phone call. Please hold on or call back 265-4331. Back in a moment.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
You know, I want to put up on the screen right away here the council members, City of Fresno, that voted for privatizing. There were 4 members of the City Council back in December. Of course, Andreas Borges, who is now a Fresno County Supervisor, Larry Westerland, Lee Brandt, and Clint Olivier. Now, the ones that voted against are the following: Sal Quintero, Blong Jong, and Oliver Baines. So the question that I have for both of you is, okay, if this goes to a ballot, okay, if the signatures are valid, more than 21,800 are valid registered voters, what do you think is going to happen, Patrick? Do you think the council, the current new council, will say, okay, look, this thing's going to cost us $1 million. We better repeal that vote and just start over again and just let it be, let the sanitation department be the way it is?
Yeah, I wish I had a crystal ball, but I really don't. I don't know.
You don't even have an inclination of what they might do?
No, and I wouldn't want to speculate, and I don't have an inclination. It certainly is an option for council to choose to continue to go forward, or they could choose to not to. So, but
would it be smart though if it's going to put the city in the hole another $1 million by having an election?
Remembering it's generating about $2.5 million a year.
If it passes.
Net, right, if it passes.
So they're going to take their chances 50-50 on whether or not it wins, and I'm sure they'll spend a lot of money out there campaigning. What do you think the council's going to do if it goes through here?
I do not know. I do not know. I have not really talk with Steve Brandow. We've talked some with Paul Capriolio, but you know, this is uncharted territory. I don't believe anybody
Brandow is a Tea Party guy,
knows.
right? So he may be in favor of privatizing. I think he was leaning that way the last time I talked to him. And I also want to mention here on the program that I talked to Lee Brand twice. Talked to him for an hour. Doesn't want to come on the program. I talked to Joe Kalpikoff. He is the owner of Mid-Valley Disposal twice. He says he doesn't want to come on. Brand says he's burned out on this. But they're both out there on other media outlets like KMJ, which is a friendly confines for them because it's a conservative talk radio show, and Channel 47, but didn't want to come on here and answer any kind of questions either from you or our viewers. What do you make of that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. All right. At some point, maybe they will come on. But do you have enough signatures, do you think? Valid. What's your guess?
I really don't know. I have not been involved in the, we have a consultant that's helping us to go through and look the forms over and make sure all the signatures are on there, checking for any duplications. Some people forget they sign, may sign a second time, so we're trying to look at that. We still have a bunch coming in. I've received probably 15 phone calls just since 6 o'clock this morning, people wanting to know where to sign.
Okay, and you're going to personally turn them in at 4:30, or are you going to have a group of people turn them into the city clerk?
Anybody that would like to join us, we're going to start gathering in front of City Hall at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I believe there's a press conference at 4:15, and we plan to turn them in around 4:30.
Around 4:30. Okay, let's take a quick call here. Good morning. On Connect with me. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
I think this is a very slippery slope that the city is going down because it opens up a nest egg for all kinds of things, and one of them is when Fresno County could no longer pay for its fire service, they contracted out to the state of California. When the city of Parlier couldn't pay for its police department, they contracted out to the county sheriff's department. Who's to say that the city of Fresno, when they say, well, we can't pay for our fire service or our police department service, that they just don't say, well, no, we're just going to close up shop, but we'll contract it out to the county or the state of California.
There is a movement to privatize so many government services, and citizens are finding out 5-10 years later that it's a very big mistake.
Because?
Because private cannot always do it better. They're not always more efficient. I believe there was an article recently that the people in Chicago are paying $6.50 an hour to park because they privatized their parking services.
Here's a problem I have, Patrick, and you can answer this. The only problem I have with Mid-Valley Disposal, and I don't know Joe Kalpikoff, I don't really know Lee Brand, but the problem I have is, okay, if you're telling me that the rates are going to be lower and it's going to privatize, why isn't there competition out there? If they're picking up my garbage and I get ticked off at Mid-Valley Disposal, there's no other company I can call that can pick up my trash. There's no competition. Doesn't competition create lower rates?
We had competition at the time that we did the request for proposals, and there were
But I'm talking about once we get into it, a year or two down the road, now I'm unhappy with Mid-Valley. I can't call a second company to come pick it up.
It's a matter of I guess, philosophy or approach. They still are held to performance standards both by contract and by management oversight of the franchise. And it's a matter that is more easily controlled if you trust or believe in that process. That's more easily controlled with a singular franchisee than it is with any number of people.
All right. I have an idea. If you're unhappy with your rates, whether it's private or city, all right, cancel your garbage service and share it with your neighbor. That'll cut your rate in half. How about that? What do you think of that, Patrick?
Well, certainly a lot of people in multifamily residential apartment complexes do just that. You do have the option to self-haul to be able to prove out. There's a system for proving out if you cancel service as to how you are making sure you're not still violating public health laws.
Well, you can share it with your neighbor. Just split the cost in half. If it costs $50, you each pitch in, pay $25. You know, that's more than one way to skin a cat, I guess, right, Dee? Mm-hmm. All right, we've got about 30 seconds here. What's your take on what's going to happen quickly?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I haven't been involved with the petition drive nor any other activity related or surrounding the petition drive. We're just waiting and watching.
All right, Patrick, always good to see you. Dee, thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your viewpoint. I appreciate it. We're back on Monday, and we're going to talk to Colin Doherty of Channel 49. It's on the air, off the presses. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for watching and calling in. See you then.